Hi, VC. It's Aaron, Metha Alamere. Today I'm counting down my top 60 records of the 1960s. Now, this is just my personal favorites that I have on vinyl. I don't know of many more that I would add to this. If I did have them on vinyl, these are pretty set in stone to me. I mean, I was born in 1970, so I didn't grow up, when they came out, but I grew up listening to these when I was a young kid and, on to my adulthood. And a lot of these records were favorites to me as a kid, and some I discovered recently, and they were added in. But it's just my personal favorites. So, if it's not the same as your list, which it won't be, that's totally fine. Everyone has their own list, and that's really cool. But I just thought I'd do this top 60 records, my top favorite 60 records of the 1960s. And most of them are from the later 60s because that's where I tend to gravitate to. I'm just not a big fan of the 50s music, and the early 60s didn't do a lot for me. But during the mid 60s to late 60s, I absolutely love most of the music. And I'll get started here because it's a long list. So at number 60, I've got with Cream with Goodbye. And this is an awesome record. And just for the song Badge alone, it has to be on here. Badge is one of my all-time favorite Cream songs. Absolutely love it. It's also got, the live side with I'm So Glad and Politician. But Badge alone made this get my list here. So it's an awesome record. Number 59, I've got Your Album by the James Gang. Another great one. Joe Walsh is amazing on here. It's got Funk 48, Take a Look Around. Just a great album by the James Gang. Love them. Number 58, I've got Shades of Deep Purple. Now, I'm not as big of a fan of the Mark 1 version of Deep Purple with Rod Evans and Nick Simper. I like it a lot, but I like the Mark 2 and Mark 3 and Beyond versions better, just because they had so many cover songs. And, they did cover songs really well, like Hush. It's an awesome song. I'm not a huge fan of their version of Help. I mean, I like it, but it's just so different. And Hey Joe is on here. But I really like Mandrake Root. That's killer. I'm So Glad, another cover. That's the only reason I don't like them as well, is because there's so much covers, kind of like the early Beatles. But awesome record. Love it. Hush is an all-time classic. And Mandrake Root, of course. Love Deep Purple, one of my all-time favorites. At number 57, I've got the legendary Son House, Father of the Blues. Really great blues record. Son House is becoming one of my favorite blues artists over the years. This is actually produced by John Hammond, which is really cool. It's got Death Letter on here, Preaching Blues, Grinning in Your Face. Awesome record by Son House. Love it. Number 56. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida from Iron Butterfly. Wow. And that, of course, the title song takes up the whole second side. Epic song. Featured prominently in a couple movies. And it's just an awesome song of psychedelic hard rock greatness. Love this. The first side's really good, too. I really love all the songs on it, really. Most Anything You Want, Termination. Really good album here. Iron Butterfly. Number 55. I've got the psychedelic sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators. And this one, I'm a relative newcomer to. I got this record a couple years ago, and I love it. My sister actually gave it to me. She got it from a house she was cleaning out. And this is an original copy. Still sounds great. Not perfect on the sleeve. Got a little writing, but awesome record. And I love the fuzz guitar, and You're Gonna Miss Me, of course, is awesome. Roller Coaster, Through the Road. I love this whole album. It's great. It's really has boosted up. Because when I did this list, I had well over 100 records I was considering, probably closer to 150, and I had to whittle it down, and that one made it. So it's a great record. Number 54, I've got Forever Changes from Love, another one I'm newer to. Now, these two last records might work their way up my list in the years to follow because I don't know them as well as a lot of the others. But this is a great psychedelic pop rock album. Really good stuff. Alone Again. Oh, every song's good on this. A House Is Not a Motel. Old Man. I love this record. It really grew on me fast, and it's shooting up my list. So at number 53, I've got the debut from the Allman Brothers Band. What an amazing debut. I mean, they're just so great, the Allman Brothers. And, Black Hearted Woman, Whipping Post. Wow. Killer album here. I definitely need a better copy. It's a little beat up. Still sounds good, though. That's all that really matters. At number 52, I've got the debut from the Stooges. Great debut from them. It's actually my third favorite Stooges album. I prefer Funhouse and Raw Power, but this is a great album, too. I Want to Be Your Dog is awesome. 1969. Oh, man, no fun. This is a great debut, and beginnings of punk. Killer stuff there, the Stooges. Of course, Iggy Pop is the lead singer. At number 51, another blues record here, and this is just a killer double album. This is Second Winter from Johnny Winter. Awesome, awesome album. He's one of the best blues guitarists. So good. Just every song's good on this. He does a couple covers like Johnny Be Good, but wow, is he good. It's got his brother Edgar Winter. There's the inner gatefold. What an awesome, killer electric blues record here. Love it. At number 50. Now, I know a lot of people will put this in their top 10. I like it a lot, but I just love these other ones. This is Odyssey and Oracle from the Zombies. What a great record. Time of the Season, of course, is a big hit. The rest of the record's kind of moody, really good stuff. It clicks with me, but not as much as some others. I really like this, though. Good stuff. Zombies. At number 49, I like this slightly better than Shades of Deep Purple. This is the Book of Taliesin. There's the Deep Purple's second record, awesome record. They still are doing covers. They do Kentucky Woman, the Neil Diamond song, and River Deep, Mountain High, which is really good on here. My favorite song on here is Shield. I love Shield. They also do We Can Work It Out. Beatles song, of course. Ring That Neck. What a great song. What a great album. Richie Blackmore, really killer guitar work on it. The whole band's amazing, of course. And I do like Rod Evans and Nick Semper a lot. I just prefer the later ones better. Now at number 48, this is another one I got into later in my life, and it is a progressive rock masterpiece, In the Court of the Crimson King from King Crimson. What a great album debut by them, and this is a killer, just a great album. Of course, 20th Century Schizoid Man, 21st Century Schizoid Man, amazing. Moonchild, In the Court of the Crimson King. This, if you want to look up prog rock, this record does it. It's just amazing, and what a creepy cover. Love it. Okay, at number 47, I've got Blue Cheer with Vincebus Eruptum. Great album. Some people consider this early heavy metal. I don't really think so. I think it's just heavy blues rock with just a lot of energy. Killer stuff. They do a great version of Summertime Blues, of course, is what they're known for on this. Dr. Please is killer. Rock Me Baby. Parchment Farms, maybe my favorite on here. Love this album, Blue Cheer. Number 46, we've got the Moody Blues, On a Threshold of a Dream. One of my favorite Moody Blues records. They are so underrated, and they're just a great, great band. Killer singing, amazing musicians. I mean, I love this. This whole album is just great. I remember my aunt came over and I listened to it with her, and it was like blowing me away. Killer album here, Moody Blues. At number 45, I've got Space Oddity from David Bowie. And this is my favorite, maybe my favorite David Bowie record. Of course, I love that song. Oh, man. And it's just, the whole album's good. Memory of, just a really great record. Of course, it has a different cover, too. But this is an awesome album. Love it. Number 44, I've got Wheels of Fire from Cream, the double album. Such a great one. Half live, half studio. Of course, it's got White Room on here, Politician studio version. They do the great live version of Spoonful on here, Born Under a Bad Sign. Great blues rock. Cream is one of my very favorite bands of all time. Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker. Awesome album. One of their best. That's a great record. Number 43, I've got the Band debut. This is a really good record. Just some killer songs on here. And what a great band. I'm not as huge of a Band fan as other people, but another one of their records should have made my list. It didn't quite, and people are gonna think that's kind of crazy. It didn't, but this has Up on Cripple Creek, which is awesome. The Night the Girls Rolled Dixie Down, of course. Great, great album here, and a really good band. Okay, at number 42, I've got Pink Floyd's debut, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Really good psychedelic intro to Pink Floyd. Love this record. And since I got this repress, I'm starting to like it more and more. I usually like their mid-70s stuff the best, but this is really, really good. Astronomy Domine, of course, on here, which is great, and a bunch of metal bands have covered that. Interstellar Overdrive is killer. The Gnome, great album here. Number 41. This is one of the best double records ever. Electric Ladyland from Jimi Hendrix Experience. Just amazing. It's got Crosstown Traffic and Voodoo Child. Voodoo Child Slight Return. Both of those are on here. All on the Watchtower. His great version of that. But just an awesome, awesome double album. And amazing, amazing band. Okay, at number 40. The Freewheeling, Bob Dylan. One of Bob Dylan's best records. This is just an awesome one. Blowing in the Wind is how it starts. Oh, man, that's so good. Don't Think Twice. It's All Right. One of my favorite Bob Dylan songs. Great album all the way through. Killer stuff there. At number 39 now, I've got Donovan with Sunshine Superman. I absolutely love this record. It's my favorite Donovan record. It's got some highs and some lows, but the highs are so high on this. The title song, Sunshine Superman, I absolutely love that. Season of the Witch might be my favorite Donovan song. It's so good. Oh, man. This is just an awesome record. Every song's good. Some better than others, but they're all good. Okay, at number 38. And this one is a lot of people's very favorite record, and I understand that. I love it, but to me, I grew up with this record, and there's a few songs I love, some songs that I like. 38, Pet Sounds from the Beach Boys. Now, I absolutely love God Only Knows, one of the very best songs ever made, of course. Wouldn't it be nice? Right up there, too. I really love Sloop John B. I'm a big fan of That's Not Me and Here Today. I actually like Pet Sounds. And I think a lot of the other stuff, I'm not a big fan of Caroline No, or Let's Go Away for a While, or Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder, You Still Believe in Me. They're good songs. I don't think they're great. I actually prefer the outro of Caroline No to the song, where it has all the train tracks and all that, but it's a killer, phenomenal record here, Pet Sounds. At number 37, Beggar's Banquet from the Rolling Stones. Love this album. The Rolling Stones, one of my favorite songs, of course, Sympathy for the Devil. It's got Street Fighting Man, and Parachute Woman's pretty good. Stray Cat Blues. Great Stones album, one of their best. Love this one. Number 36, I got the debut from Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I love this album. This is the first album I ever heard by them, and I had it on record when I was a kid, and I love it. It's so good. I Put a Spell on You and Susie Q. So good. 99 and a Half Won't Do. Great album, but they did better. But this is an awesome album. This one's an acoustic sounds record. It's one of my best sounding records. So they kind of boosted a little just because it sounds so good. Okay, at number 35, I've got The Doors with Waiting for the Sun. This is actually one of my favorite Doors records. I love this album. It starts with Hello, I Love You. I love the song Love Street. I think that's awesome. Unknown Soldier, Spanish Caravan. We Can Be So Good Together. This is a great record. I still remember my dad playing this when we were painting our house. We bought our house back when I was a kid and listening to this on cassette. Love that record. Okay, at number 34, I got Jefferson Airplane with Surrealistic Pillow. Great psychedelic album. Of course, it's got White Rabbit on it, and Somebody to Love, of course. Those are the big hits. But this is a solid album all the way through. Great album from Jefferson Airplane. Love this one. Okay, at number 33, my favorite album by the Moody Blues, Days of Future Past. And this one, I remember we had on 8-track, so I listened to this a lot when I was a kid. I got to know it. Nights on White Satin's great. You know, every song is really good on here. I love this album. Just an awesome, one of the first concept type records. I love how they have the orchestration in it. Really good record. Number 32, Bringing It All Home Again by Bob Dylan. One of his strongest albums of the 60s. I absolutely love this. I love Subterranean Homesick Blues. That's a great one. Maggie's Farm is killer. Mr. Tambourine Man's on here. It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. What a great record from Bob Dylan. Love it. Number 31, my first of this band. There's going to be a few more. This is It's a Hard Day's Night from the Beatles. What a great record. That's kind of their earlier stuff. I Should Know Better's on here. Can't Buy Me Love. And I Love Her. That's a great one. I'll Be Back is one of my very favorites on here. I'll Cry Instead. Solid record, and so much better than the American release. Number 30, the Rolling Stones again with Sticky Fingers. Killer record. I definitely need an upgrade. Of course, it has Can't Hear Me Knocking, one of my favorite Stones songs. Brown Sugar's on here. Wild Horses, great album from the Rolling Stones. Okay, at number 29, my favorite of the early Beatles records, and this is the American release. I like it better than British couple first ones. This is Meet the Beatles. Loved Meet the Beatles. I like it better than Please Please Me and, the couple first early Beatles from the British version. I like this because it has I Want to Hold Your Hand. And I saw her standing there to start off the record. All My Lovin's on here. Don't Bother Me. Little Child. I love I Want to Be Your Man. I think this is a great record here. Meet the Beatles. Number 28, not the debut, but close enough. Steppenwolf. What a great album this is. Of course, Born to Be Wild says it right on there, but that's not my favorite on here. Sookie Sookie is really good. My favorite, though, is The Pusher, which is on here. Amazing song. Steppenwolf doesn't get enough love in the VC. What a great band. Number 27, and for a while, this is my favorite by Bob Dylan. But the more I listen, there's one I like more. This is his debut. I absolutely love this. It's basically just Bob Dylan with a guitar and a harmonica, and it's so raw and so good. Love this album so much. Every song I like on it. I even like his version of House of the Rising Sun. But what an amazing debut this is. Killer record from Bob Dylan. Number 26. One of my favorite artists. Most of his stuff from the 70s. This is my favorite of his 60s output. This is Aerial Ballet from Nilsson. Great record here. Of course, it has, I love how it starts with Good Old Desk. That's a great song. It's got Everybody's Talking and One on here. Big hits. Love Nilsson's songwriting, his singing, everything he does. I love Nilsson. That's a great one there. Number 25. Now, people think I'm crazy, but I actually like this better than Pet Sounds. This is Smiley Smile from the Beach Boys. And, it's got another two of my favorite top 4 Beach Boys songs. My top 4 are the two that I mentioned from Pet Sounds, and then you got Good Vibrations and Heroes and Villains from this, which I love. The thing that sets this apart, I like the deep tracks a little bit better on this. I really like Vegetables, actually. I think that's hilarious. Fall Breaks, Back to Winter, the Woody Woodpecker Symphony, that instrumental. I love trippy stuff like that. Almost sounds like a Pink Floyd instrumental. I really love it. And the vocal harmonies are really cool on it. And I just think this is an awesome album. Smiley Smile from the Beach Boys. At number 24, I've got Canned Wheat from the Guess Who. Killer record here. Not my favorite Guess Who, but it's in my top 3 or 4. And this one's got Laughing, which is one of my very favorites. Undone, one of the very best Guess Who songs. Of course, Burton Cummings, the lead singer, Randy Bachman on guitar, amongst their other players. But this is a really good record. Canned Wheat, their second major debut there. At number 23, I've got Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. Neil Young and Crazy Horse. Love this. It's my favorite 60s record of Neil Young. Absolutely love it. Cinnamon Girl is one of my favorite Neil Young songs. I love that song so much. He's got Down by the River, Cowgirls in the Sand. Great album from Neil. Amazing stuff. At number 22, I've got Bayou Country from Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR. They were just pumping out record after record. They had 3 albums in 1 year, all classics, and this one is one of them. Born on the Bayou, of course, on here. This is the one that has Proud Mary. Awesome album there. Number 21, my favorite Rolling Stones record, Let It Bleed. Love this record. It's got my favorite song by them, Give Me Shelter. It's one of my favorite songs of the 60s. Monkey Man's great. The title song, You Can't Always Get What You Want. Great closer. Love this album, Let It Bleed. Now we're into the top 20. All of these are like all-time favorites of mine. Those were too, but these are just the ones I go back to and listen to over and over. I'm going to start with number 20, Willie and the Poor Boys from Creedence. What a great record. Man, they were just, I can't believe they put 3 records out. This, Bayou Country, and another one that's coming up, all in the same year. Down in the Corner, Came Out of the Sky, Fortunate Son, what a great song. Effigy, Midnight Special, amazing record from Creedence. Number 19, Help from the Beatles. My favorite soundtrack record from them, but this is more than that. This is so much better than the American version because it's got Help. It's got, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride. What a great song. Act Naturally is on here. I love that song. It's Only Love. I've Just Seen a Face, which ended up on the American version of Rubber Soul. Yesterday is on this. Dizzy Miss Lizzy. Great album. Number 18, going back to Creedence again with Green River. My favorite Creedence record. Absolutely love that song. Love this record. Bad Moon Rising and Lodi are both on here. Man, what a good record. Creedence with Green River. Amazing they put out that stuff like that. It's like them and the Beatles were just cranking out records. Okay, at number 17, I've got the debut from Led Zeppelin. Amazing debut. Killer record here. Good Times, Bad Times. Everyone knows this. You Shook Me. Communication Breakdown. Awesome debut from one of the best bands of all time. Number 16. Another great, this is the second record from Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis, Bold as Love. I love If 6 Was 9, Spanish Castle Magic, all the stuff on here. This is such a good record. Axis, Bold as Love. One of the all-timers there. Number 15, my favorite Bob Dylan record from the 60s, Highway 61 Revisited. And, this might be his best record overall. It starts out with Like a Rolling Stone, From a Buick 8. I love that Ballad of a Thin Man, really creepy, cool song there. Desolation Row, that great long final track, amazing record. Okay, where am I at? Number 14, and this is going to surprise some people. It's that high, but I love this record. The Bob Seger System, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. Other than that song, this song has some of my very favorite Bob Seger songs. Tales of Lucy Blue, one of my top 5 Bob Seger songs of all time. Every song on this I love. I love Ivory. 2 plus 2 equals question mark. That's so good. What a great, it's almost got some psychedelic leanings. Really good record, a little more raw for him. And great songwriting, amazing record. I love that. Number 13, the debut from a great band here too. This is Santana's debut at 13. I love this album. Of course, it's got Evil Ways on here. Soul Sacrifice. Just an amazing guitar virtuoso and what a great band. Of course, Greg Raleigh is on here, does the vocals, who later formed Journey. Amazing, amazing record. Number 12, the one and only album by this band, and their super group, Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, Ginger Baker, and Rick Gretsch. Blind Faith. Amazing record. I love this. Can't Find My Way Home is the big single, which is known by everyone, but every song's good on this. My favorite is Do What You Like. The last song on it has an amazing Ginger Baker drum solo. Blows me away every time I hear it. Blind Faith at number 12. Number 11, the debut, The Doors. Awesome record here at number 11. It starts with Break On Through, of course, Soul Kitchen. Every song's good on this. Light My Fire, Backdoor Man. And it ends with the epic, The End. Almost a perfect debut record. Love it. Number 11. So now I'm into my top 10. And my top 10 is going to start with Rubber Soul. What a great Beatle record. This is when they were starting to transfer into their, this is like their mid-era. After their more pop stuff, they were starting to experiment with their sound. Starts with Drive My Car, Norwegian Wood. What a great song. Nowhere Man. Michelle, The Word. Oh my God, I love this album. In My Life, Run For Your Life, Little Girl. This is such a good record. Number 10 of the 1960s, Rubber Soul. Number 9, not the Beatles. Number 9, I've got Led Zeppelin 2. One of my favorite Led Zeppelin records, of course, Whole Lotta Love. Everyone knows this. Ramble On's amazing. Living, Lovin' Made. Oh my God, this is so good. Thank You is great. The Lemon Song. What Is and What Never Should Be. One of the all-time great records. Led Zeppelin 2. And number 8, This is probably the biggest shock of the whole thing, but people that know me will understand. This is Wheatfield Soul from the Guess Who. Absolutely love this record. My favorite Guess Who record, and they're one of my favorite bands. Burton Cummings' vocals are awesome on this. It starts with These Eyes. That was the only hit, but the rest of the album is just so good. Kind of folk at times, psychedelic at times, rock at times. My favorite song in here is Friends of Mine, which is such an epic song. It's like he's channeling Jim Morrison. Just such a good song. I love that. Maple Fudge, We're Coming to Dinner. That's so cool. Lightfoot, which is about Gordon Lightfoot. Great on here. And When You Touch Me. I love this record. Number 8. Number 7. An all-time classic, Disraeli Gears from Cream. What a great record this is. My favorite Cream record and one of my favorite records ever. Starts with Strange Brew. It's got Sunshine of Your Love. Tales of Brave Ulysses, one of the best guitar songs ever. Bar, whatever you call it. That's so good. Amazing, amazing record. This is my favorite record Eric Clapton was ever on. Love Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce on it. So good. Number 6. One of the most influential records of all time, if not the most influential. One of my very favorite records. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Amazing records. The first 3 songs, it's hard to beat that with any 3 from any record of all time. The title song, With a Little Help from My Friends, and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And it ends with A Day in the Life. Might be the best Beatles song, and that's saying something. And all the stuff in between is great. Getting Better and Lovely Rita. Within You, Without You, I love that. Fixing a Hole. Oh, man. What a great album. Number 6 of the 1960s. And number 5. I'd like this slightly better, even though it's not a fully realized album. But I think that the totality of the songs are slightly better. And I grew up listening to this one. And I didn't grow up listening to that as much. Magical Mystery Tour from the Beatles. What an awesome album. The first side with all the new stuff. Magical Mystery Tour, The Fool on the Hill. What a great song. I love that. So underrated. One of the best Beatles songs, I think. I'm the Walrus, another one of my favorites. I actually really love Your Mother Should Know. Blue Jay Waves, one of my favorite George Harrison songs, Flying. And then you got those great songs that weren't on any albums they put on here. Hello Goodbye, I think is the weakest of them, even though it's a #1 hit. But you got Strawberry Fields Forever, one of the very best Beatles songs. All You Need Is Love. I love those lyrics so much. Penny Lane and Baby You're a Rich Man. At number 5, Magical Mystery Tour. At number 4, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. One of the best, maybe the best debut record of anyone ever. So good. Starts with Purple Haze, Manic Depression, Hey Joe. That's almost as good as the Sgt. Pepper 3. So good there. I mean, I Don't Live Today, The Wind Cries Mary, Fire, Foxy Lady, Are You Experienced? Amazing debut. Jimi Hendrix Experience. So that leaves my top 3, and they're all by the same band. They dominated the 60s. They dominate music. And number 3, Revolver from the Beatles. So good. Man, I love this album. I grew up with this record. I've heard this since I was a kid. I love Taxman, one of my very favorite songs. Eleanor Rigby, Love You Too, Here, There, and Everywhere. So good. I love Yellow Submarine. I don't care if people don't. I love it. Always have. It's one of those rare songs where, if you see one of them perform it live, like you see Ringo do it, you'll see people, little kids singing it. You'll see teenagers. You'll see adults. You'll see old people. Everybody loves that song. She Said, great song from John. Good Day, Sunshine, so underrated. That should have been a huge hit. Enya Bird Can Sing, very unique and killer. I love that heaviness of it. Got to Get You Into My Life. Can't believe that wasn't a big hit. That's so good. And then Tomorrow Never Knows, one of the most experimental, great songs of all time. Revolver at number 3. Which leaves at number 2, Abbey Road. What a masterpiece this is. I absolutely love every song on it, starting with Come Together and Something, of course. I like Maxwell Silverhammer. I think it's great. I've always loved the humor of that song. Oh, Darling, I think is the best vocal performance Paul McCartney's ever done. Absolutely love it. I love the Ringo song, Octopus's Garden. That is the song that got me into the music. It was my very first favorite song I ever had as a little kid. So I just love it. I Want You, She's So Heavy, of course. Awesome. One of the beginnings of heavy metal there. Then you got Here Comes the Sun. What a great song that is. And then the great medley ending with The End. Hard to beat this one. The only reason I'm putting one above it is because I like it more. And my number one, the White Album, otherwise known as the Beatles. And it's just got everything in it. It's a double record, and whether you like some of the songs, don't like them, everyone has favorites on here. Even your least favorite could be someone else's favorite. You know, of course, starting with back in the USSR with Dear Prudence. I love Rocky Raccoon and the continuing story of Bungalow Bill. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Birthday, what a great song that is. That's, I mean, wow. And just every song on this, you know, Mother Nature's Son, I Will, Julia, Your Blues, one of my very favorite Beatles songs. Helter Skelter's on here. Just, I love this record. The only down parts for me, of course, are Revolution 9, which I have to be in the mood to listen to that. Sometimes I really love listening to it, and other times I skip it. And I'm not a big fan of Revolution 1. I don't like how they did the shooby-doo-wah stuff in it. Other than that, I love everything on this. Just a masterpiece of a record where everything else gets compared to. That's a double album. And there we go. That's my top 60 records of 1960. Go ahead and tell me your favorites and tell me I'm crazy, which I might be. I might be a fool for liking some of these better than others, but that's all right. This is how I like them. And I will see everyone next time. Thank you.